Okay, so today I am talking to Shakisha Morgan, the legacy counselor, mom, wife, professor, all the commas, about what it is to estate plan, what it means, her faith, and family. So go ahead, give a listen, push play. I'll catch you on the inside. Welcome back, Bold Moves Bestie. This is Claudia, and we are here with Shakisha Morgan for She Built Success. Shakisha, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
I am so excited because we actually need to catch up.
Yes.
So just a little background. So Shakisha was my estate attorney during the pandemic, actually, 2020. Now, fast forward, Shakisha had a second child, another daughter, and has her own firm, the Morgan Firm. Shakisha, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yes,
Claudia.
yes. So I'm going to give all Shakisha's commas. She is a professor. She is an estate attorney. She is a loving mother, a supportive wife, all the things.
All of them.
And accepting all of them as well.
Yes.
So Shakisha, I wanted to talk about how important it is to estate plan, what that looks like, and what it means. And if you want to tap on ages, you can, but go ahead.
Okay, well, let me just start with this. Estate planning is for everybody.
Yes.
Okay, so let's just level set right there, because I think sometimes when you're having conversations about estate planning, all these sort of things, like people just find a way to like exclude themselves from the process.
Yeah.
So let's start by saying that if you are 18, if you can understand what I'm saying, and if you can disagree with anything that I'm saying, you should have an estate plan. Just right there, right? You've got the mental capacity, you've got the critical thinking skills. You may not have the desire, but that's usually because people don't realize how important it is.
Right.
And it's important because life happens to all of us,
Yep.
right? Unexpected things happen on a daily basis. But when I work with clients, and I'm sure that you can speak to this, is like, we're not trying to do it because we're scared of what life could look like. Right. We're actually trying to do it because we are anticipating life going the way that we're planning, our hard work coming out and doing something important, right, and protecting what that is, right, that we're trying to build.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She Absolutely. Built success.
She built success. Absolutely. And I agree, because I know when I came to you, I did not have an estate at all together. And that was one of the things that I wanted to get done. And I found that process for me was, and you can let me know how maybe your other clients took it, but for me, it was fun. You made it fun, but it was very reflective. Like, yes, it takes a lot of internal reflection on and projection, because you're future pacing things as well, just to get all your ducks in a row, as they say. Yeah. Do you find is that a common theme? Like, you hear a lot, like, you made me really think, or you think about things, or it brings up things. I know for me, there was some things that it brought up, and I was not ready for even that moment at that time. And I was like, whoa, okay. Do you get that reaction?
Yes. And that's good. That's good. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that feedback, because that is what we're trying to do, right? So for those who may be unfamiliar with estate planning is when we take a look at what's going on in your life and we say, okay, if something were to happen to me, what do I need to have in place to make sure that my finances can still be taken care of, my responsibilities can still be taken care of, my health can still be advocated for, and that what I'm building doesn't fall by the wayside, doesn't go unprotected, no matter what happens to me. So that looks like powers of attorneys, it looks like wills, it looks like trusts. And people are like, okay, legal language. Right. And I'm like, but what it really comes down to is you're taking a look at the people in your life. You're taking a look at the things that matter to you. You're taking a look at the effort that you put into designing the life that you want. And you think about what it looks like to protect it. Yeah. That's really what it comes down to. And so, of course, that's a reflective process. Yeah. That means, like, if I have kids, what does it look like to protect my kids, even if something happened to me? Yeah. If I have a job and an income, what does it look like to protect what I have saved from my income if something happens to me? Right. If I'm thinking about what does it look like for me to give back, then I'm protecting those charitable donations that I'm giving. I'm protecting my time and effort.
Yeah.
So yes, it is very reflective, and that's good. If you're not reflecting while you're estate planning, you're not doing it right.
You need to come find Shakisha. That's what you need to do.
Me. Yes.
So for you, what do you find? Because I know you have a young family.
I do.
2 beautiful girls and your husband.
They are so fine. I made them
They
myself.
get it from their mom.
Okay. Dad was there. He's there.
You have your firm. Do you find it difficult to be present as a mom, be present as a wife, and run your firm? Or are you like just taking it in strides? Like, what does that look like for you? She's like, pick the day.
First of all, it's total chaos. But okay, here's what I would say. It is different than when I was working for someone else in a firm, because it is very much a faith walk. But what's important about it is that I have become very much more intentional about the way that I use my time. Yeah. So I have a cutoff time for when I see clients. Yeah. There are very, very few exceptions to those rules, but it's because I have to have a transition point between getting a kid ready and out the door for school and like touching up those edges right. And then moving into client mode and, talk to me about what's going on with your grandpa and whether or not you want to provide for him if something were to happen to you. Yeah. And then transition back to how was school and what's on the schedule for tomorrow. And please eat that. It's dinner time. Like it's very, it's a very dynamic sort of thing. And so I spend a lot of time forgiving myself for not doing everything perfectly, but I wouldn't change it for the world, to be honest with you. Yeah. No, I hear you. That's extending grace. Forgiving yourself, that's extending grace to you. That's why I'm in therapy every Monday at 10 a.m. I know that's right. No, but it's important, right? Because otherwise, and I'm with you. I'm not a balance. I don't believe in balance either. I feel like there's always going to be a give and a take with whatever you're doing. But I feel like sometimes that social media marker is just, they make everything seem like, oh, I can balance a teacup and do this and walk on a tightrope. And it's like, no, you can't. Something's going to fall. Yeah, well. Or give. The good thing is I don't have time to scroll social media anymore. That's right. No, but just I don't even know what's going on in that world. Yeah. So, but here's what I would say. I would say that I feel like we're all in this sort of chaotic making this up as we go journey. I think that being said, I know that I am someone who makes it look like it's easy, but let me just be clear. It's not. Okay. It's not easy. Yeah. But what I do is, like you said, I'm not looking for balance anymore. Yeah. I am looking to prioritize. And then sometimes people are disappointed by what I choose to prioritize. And that is okay. That is their journey. Yeah. But I am comfortable with what I'm prioritizing in the moment. Yeah. And so that means if I miss out on one thing, oh well, but if I feel like I'm putting my effort towards something that matters to me, then I stick with it. If you're done with the fluff and ready to execute on the how, then visit shebuiltsuccess.com for the tools you need. It's time to push go and dive into real strategies, genuine understanding, and concrete steps to create both more in business and life. Head on over to shebuiltsuccess.com for access to exclusive downloads, resources, and bonuses. Because moving boldly forward is not just a destination, it's a multi-layered journey. Let's grow and build your success together. You said priority, and it made me think of the question as far as success. What does success look like for you right now? Comfort in disappointing other people. Wow. Mic drop. Like literally. That's it. What's important to me is not going to be important to other people. Yeah. My kids should not matter to people who are not their mother. Yeah. Right. But to me, my kids are top priority. Yeah. So if it means that I'm missing out on this big fabulous girls trip, and I'm glad that I'm not on Instagram as often to be able to see all of the evidence of it, but I still feel good about the choice that I made. Yeah. If it looks like I am spending my money to have a live-in nanny as opposed to spending my money to get a bigger house at the moment. I know what my present needs are. Yeah. And so like it looks different to other people, but I mean, this is a lesson that I want to teach my girls, right? Yeah. Especially my young Black girls, is I want to teach them that you prioritize what matters in your life. And if it disappoints people, you can leave space for it, but you don't let it shift your priorities. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. No, I agree. I think that whether it's in our own companies or with our family, if we don't
hold a high regard or boundaries for that matter, yeah, then it's no point. It's just going to shatter any semblance of what was together, not together anymore. Yeah. I'm actually curious because I know we were catching up prior and just talking about estate planning and all that fun stuff. How frequently, this is back to FAQ, how frequently should you be updating your estate plan?
You should be looking at it annually.
Okay.
You should be updating it as needed.
So as things change.
Yes, as things change. Because if you're doing it in a way that's contemplative and reflective, then you have built space for the flexibility in your life. So you don't have to change it every time. Like you shouldn't, if you're a parent, you shouldn't have to change your estate plan every time you change schools for your kid. But if you are someone who, when you first started your business plan, you weren't a business owner, and then 5 years later you are a business owner, let's take a look and see what that means.
Yeah.
But it could be something as simple as if your relationships have changed and someone who you held in a certain regard, who was going to, be someone that you could rely on to take care of your finance, to be the one who steps in to take care of your finances if something happened to you. Perhaps that relationship has gone badly.
Yeah.
You should update your estate plan. That's why you should look at it annually. It stays top of mind.
Why do you think people have a reservation for estate planning?
Because nobody wants to talk about death. It's not. When you think about like topics of conversation, I feel like watching paint dry, digging dirt off the bottom of your shoes, and then like down there somewhere, it's like, okay, let's talk about death.
Yeah.
And that's why I try to bring some levity to it, because it is hard to talk about. It is emotional to talk about, but it's necessary to talk about because there's only one thing that every human being only one experience every human being will share. But the difference is that some human beings will be prepared for that experience and some will not be. And this is why when I said comfort and disappointing people, it is as important as thinking about, it is a priority for me to protect what I have. It's a priority for me to protect myself, which means I also need to be comfortable being uncomfortable if it is going to meet a prioritized goal of mine. Yeah. So everybody needs to do it.
Yeah, agreed.
Everybody.
And last question, because I know we have to hop, but I know your moniker is the legacy counselor.
That's me.
Yes, ma'am. Take it all. How do you find that you bring together your faith and legacy?
Okay. That's a good question. Okay. So what's important is that my faith is the basis of every decision that I make. Yeah. That doesn't necessarily mean I make all the right decisions.
Tell me about it.
But my faith helps me to be okay with the fact that when I mess up, it's going to help guide me back to one.
Yeah, that part.
Because my faith is so important to me, and because it is so instrumental in the decisions that I'm making, I am constantly thinking about when faith is at play, how do outcomes change? One of the most faithful, sight unseen, I do not know what this world is going to look like when I'm no longer a part of it. So when we talk about making decisions based on faith, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be here, but my kids will, or my husband might be, or my friends' kids that I love will be here. And so here's what I want to leave for them, with the faith that they will take this and do something. It will pay it forward, right? Yeah. And so faith is always forward looking. Yeah. So when you think about faith and legacy, one can't exist without the other. Right. Even if you're not a person of faith, planning for legacy is a faith choice. Yes. Which it makes it very hard for people who have a more negative outlook on life. Well, fine, just plan because you think you might die tomorrow. Okay, fine. Let that be the motivation. But when you talk about doing it well, anything that you're doing, think about building things, doing things from scratch, entrepreneurship. Listen, it's a faith walk to walk into your W-2 and think that you won't get fired the next day. Not because you did anything wrong, but because they might have layoffs. Right. What are you gonna do about that?
Right.
So faith is like an everyday thing for me. And so because of the kind of work that I do, I'm always contemplating every single choice. And it really triggers my overthinking, but but I enjoy that I get to sit in a very reflective seat to help people to be more intentional about the life that they're building. Yeah. You really can't get a better job than that.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I think the work that you are doing as the legacy counselor is impeccable. And I can attest to it, like personally attest to it. I'm genuinely just thankful that we crossed paths, we came into each other's life. Yeah, it's just.
And she is one of the most efficient people I've ever met in my life. I just have to say that. Efficient. Okay. I don't have favorite clients. I do. Claudia's not one of my favorite clients. She was. So.
No, I thank you, Shakisha. I'm truly thankful that you make estate planning genuinely. Like you said, you bring the levity to it, but you also are just, when it's time to get to work, it's time to get to work. And I'm thankful that you're the person that I go to for that, and that y'all can go to. Don't worry, all her ads and everything, email, all that will be available to you. So Shakisha, thank you for joining us on She Built Success. You guys, if you're not already, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe on your podcast platform of choice. I'll catch you on the next episode of She Built Success. Bye, Bobu Besties.